Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really fascinating coaching philosophy, one that's built for the kind of chaotic, unpredictable world we're all living in. It's based on this core idea that our old ways of goal setting are starting to fail us, mostly because they ignore the wisdom of our entire being, not just what's going on in our head.
So let's just dive right in with a question that, probably hits home for a lot of coaches out there. Have you ever had a great session? Your client seems totally on board. They set these crystal clear goals, and then crickets. Nothing happens. That feeling of frustration, it's a huge sign that maybe the old tools just aren't cutting it anymore.
So here's how we're going to walk through this. First, we'll unpack the big challenge that coaching is facing right now. Then, we'll introduce this thing called the bwise framework. After that, we'll get into its use of 12 intelligences. And finally, we'll look at the incredible impact this can have on clients. Okay, so let's set the stage. We live in a world that's just constantly shifting under our feet. And because of that, the old, rigid, cookie-cutter ways of coaching are really starting to show their limits.
This is the environment our clients are trying to get by in every single day. It's chaotic, it's uncertain. And those standard, one-size-fits-all coaching methods, they just aren't dynamic enough to help people navigate this level of complexity.
And if any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. These are the symptoms of a much deeper issue. The reason it feels like something is missing, the reason clients don't follow through, it's often because the goals are being set by the thinking brain all by itself, while other parts of them just aren't on board. It really points to a need for a much more holistic approach.
So what's the alternative? Well, let's talk about a framework called bwise, which was developed by Dr. Suzanne Henwood. It proposes a completely new model for what it even means to be human in this day and age. And the core idea here, which is captured so beautifully by thinkers like Dr. Gabor Mate, is that wisdom doesn't just come from our head. We have multiple centers of intelligence, our thinking brain, sure, but also our heart and our gut, and they're all meant to work together, in concert. This is exactly what the bwise framework is designed to do. It's all about creating coherence, which is just a way of saying getting all our intelligence centers aligned and on the same page. That way, a client's decisions are backed by their whole self, not just one little part of it.
So how many of these intelligences are we talking about? Well, get this. The framework recognizes 12. Yep, 12. We are way beyond just the head, heart, and gut here.
Okay, so how in the world does this framework actually use all these different intelligences? Well, it all starts by moving far, far beyond the idea of a single, all-powerful brain calling all the shots.
A bwise coach is trained to listen to all 12 of these centers, everything from the cognitive intelligence of the head and the emotional intelligence of the heart to the deep instinct of the gut, and even more subtle sources like creative and ancestral intelligence. The whole goal is to get them all aligned, ending that internal tug-of-war that causes so much indecision and inaction.
The process itself is actually broken down into 3 pretty practical steps. It's about learning to first recognize the signals coming from these different centers, then to understand how they're all interacting, and finally, to optimize their alignment. And that's what produces a coherent decision that a client can actually commit to, body and soul.
And look, this isn't just some abstract theory. We're talking about tangible, real-world skills here. Coaches learn physiological techniques like how to regulate the nervous system and use breath work to create a state of flow. They also get trained on the WISE psychometric tool, which is the first scientifically validated instrument that can actually measure which intelligences a person tends to use in their decision-making. How cool is that?
So, what does this all mean in the real world? What's the practical outcome of this whole approach? What does it actually look and feel like for both the coach and the client when this kind of coherence is achieved?
Well, the difference in outcomes is stark. It's night and day. On one side, you have that old, familiar hesitation and a reliance on scripts, but on the other, with the bwise approach, you get clients who become grounded, aligned, and truly confident because the change they're making is deep and systemic. It's the difference between simply setting goals and actually honoring the whole person.
And at its heart, really, this framework is about so much more than just checking boxes or achieving goals. It's about a deep self-reconnection and acceptance. The ultimate aim is to empower clients with the tools to love themselves back to wholeness, and that is a profoundly different objective than just trying to be more productive.
And the vision here is actually bigger than just individual coaching sessions. The whole idea is to build a global community of practitioners who are all focused on this deeper, more compassionate model of change, and hopefully create a real ripple effect in the world.
So what we're left with is this one final powerful question. It completely reframes the purpose of coaching. It's not just about solving problems or reaching goals anymore. It's about empowering people to access their deepest wisdom, connect with their authentic selves, and truly bring their human spirit alive.